What time is it?
It's 12 o'clock noon.
Oh wow, it means it's lunchtime.
Well, in South Africa, but in other countries, it could be breakfast or supper
Or snack time.
Hi everyone! My name is Shadea.
My name's Shadesh.
Welcome to a video ministry of Grace TV. Here we serve bite-sized spiritual meals.
Or you can call it Bible study online.
This is every weekdays.
From Tuesday until Friday.
So wherever you are in the world,
Before having anything else,
Soul Food First! Now on Season 2!
This is Pastor Din Padayhag. Welcome to Soul Food. Yesterday, we concluded our lesson asking who are the sons of God and the daughters of men in Genesis chapter 6, why the earth was full of wickedness and violence. And we also asked about why God was so grieved to the point of destroying His creation. Now let's read again Genesis chapter 6. We'll be reading from verse 1 through verse 7 and refresh ourselves with the accounts and the questions that we asked yesterday. The Bible says, "Now it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they choose. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown." Verse 5 says, "Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was evil, only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man of the earth, and he was grieved in his heart. So the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, creeping things and birds of the air, for I am sorry that I have made them." Now, as we study these passages above, let us use three key phrases. Number 1, sons of God. Number 2, daughters of men. And then number 3, the phrase, there were giants. So, the question is, who are these sons of God and daughters of men? Are they referring to the godly line of Seth and the wicked line of Cain, as others suppose? The answer is no. Why? Number 1, nowhere in the scriptures we find that the descendants of Seth were called sons of God. Nothing like that in the scriptures. Number 2, while there were godly people in the lineage of Seth, not all of his descendants were godly people. There were others who were not godly. Number 3, the phrase daughters of men in Genesis chapter 6 verse 1 is not restricted to only the daughters of the wicked Cain, but referring to the daughters of men in general. Number 4, there is no scriptural evidence that the union, the marriage of godly sons of Seth and wicked daughters of Cain produce giants. Number 5, good people and bad people, either men or women, they get married all the time. Yet there are no giants produced. They produce human beings. So, who are these sons of God and daughters of men that the Bible is talking about? First, we have to understand that the title Sons of God is attributed to the angels of the Lord. It is evident in John chapter 1 verse 6 saying, "Now there was a day when the sons of God," can you see that phrase, sons of God, referring to the angels, "came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them." The same account of the sons of God is also recorded in the scriptures in Job chapter 2 verse 1. Now we are often told that angels are sexless because they do not multiply, but that is not true. The angels do not multiply because there are no female angels to generate their offspring from. They do not multiply because they were not told to multiply. Only people were commanded by God to be fruitful and multiply, not the angels. But it does not mean that the angels are sexless. We find that the angels described in the book of Genesis and many parts of the scriptures, that these angels can assume a human-like form and that their sex is masculine or that of a man. The book of Hebrews chapter 13 verse 2 tells us that angels can be entertained without man knowing it. It means that these angels can look perfectly and convincingly appear as human or men. The homosexual men of Sodom were very capable of judging sexuality. And in Genesis chapter 19, we see the scriptures telling us that these homosexual men were attracted to the male angels, or the angels who came to destroy the city. You see, the angels in the book of Genesis chapter 6 described as sons of God. They were fallen angels. They were in human form. They had masculine human-like figures. They are the ones who rebelled against God with their leader Lucifer or Satan. 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 4, the Bible says, "For if God did not spare the angels who sinned, but cast them down to hell and deliver them into chains of darkness to be reserved for judgment." These are the fallen angels reserved for the judgment to come, but they are still wandering around. In the book of Jude verse 6, the Bible says, "These angels who did not keep their own domain but abandoned their proper abode." It means that these angels left their angelic form and domain and took the form of men, married women of human race, either from the descendants of Cain or Seth, resulting to having offsprings that were giants. These giants are also called Nephilim. The Hebrew word Nephilim is sometimes directly translated as giants, or taken to mean as the fallen ones. That's the meaning of the Hebrew word Nephilim. The Nephilim were giants with physical superiority and therefore established themselves as men of renown for their power and their might. The book of Numbers chapter 13 verse 33 gives us the description of these giants. They were so big, so tall, so huge that the people of Israel thought, the spies thought that they were like grasshoppers before these giants. But why God, the question is why God was so grieved in this time of Genesis chapter 6, Well, it is not because that the people were sinning. The people have been sinning all along throughout the record of Genesis chapter 3 all the way to chapter 6. The people keep on sinning. And God has a provision for their sins. Remember that animal sacrifice that God commanded, that was the provision, the temporary provision of the sinfulness of men. But God was so angry and so grieved because of these giants. A new breed of being, another creature, another race which God did not even create. God was angry because the human beings whom He created according to His image are now contaminated and marred with another image of an angelic being, a wicked angelic being. God was angry because this is an obvious attack of Satan to corrupt and mess up God's salvation plan to keep the seed of the woman until He comes. God was so angry because with a new breed of people, new race, comes a new level of wickedness. The wickedness of fallen angels combined with the wickedness of human race. With this type of sinfulness, God had no provision for and no solution that God prepared. And so God was so grieved. The sacrificial offering that God mandated and commanded to the people during that time, that was for the pure human beings and their sins. You know, the people that God created, they were mandated by God to have that sacrificial offering as a covering for their sins. But that command was not for other race, not for the wicked, angelic, and mixed with human race. And so God had to do something. God had to judge and cleanse the earth from this wickedness and violence that these angelic beings brought forth. Beloved, tune in tomorrow as we talk about the judgment of God that He has poured out to the world after this sinfulness, or during this time that He saw the violence and the wickedness of the people. Well, thank you very much for watching. Enjoy your soul food.